Thanks very much, Barry, and thanks to the panel. I'll be brief because I'm sure you're all pretty tired at this stage, but I know when Emily opened the conference this morning, she said that the aim was to raise awareness and debate some of the big ethical challenges that lie ahead. So I think we can safely say that we've done that. It's been an absolutely fantastic day with so many thoughtful and thought-provoking contributions from everybody. I'm not going to attempt to summarise the whole lot, but I'll just do a little bit of a gallop through just to reflect on some of the main points, and then we'll just bring proceedings to a close. So we started off, I think, this morning with a really excellent overview of what research ethics is and how it's developed over time. And we heard all about balancing the risks to individuals with the common goal. And we were reminded, I think, very importantly, that research is it's a social undertaking, and we have a moral obligation to do research. But we were also reminded, and some of these stories I hadn't heard before, of some of the worst examples of unethical research in the past. And of course, that ultimately led to the Declaration of Helsinki and the fundamental importance of trust. And I think that came up throughout the day. We heard then about, in terms of the local landscape, the importance of research integrity was highlighted. Again, throughout the day, the need for greater public and patient involvement, how important that is, and also the need to support our RECs. I'm sure you'll all agree with that, and recognise people's time to make sure that they don't become overburdened. And there was a very practical suggestion of adding an additional goal to our national research strategy. I think we were called out on that one, that research should be carried out to the highest ethical standards. Then from a regulatory perspective, we were reminded that we all share a common goal, which is to improve clinical research. And related to that, we need to address the example. It was interesting, the fact that a lot of academic clinical studies are actually underpowered, and that just isn't good enough. In that session then, we also heard about values, how to negotiate the conflicting interests and values of all parties. And we were reminded that while checklists are important, of course, they're not enough. So just like finding a partner in life, the most important thing is that values are aligned. Now, we followed that up then with 2 sessions on research and action, and we began with the ethics of inclusive research. We got to the heart, really, of who research is for. We heard that very often the wrong people are included in research. And we heard about the excluded groups, including children, pregnant women, older people, ethnic minorities, people with mental health issues, and so on. And we heard about some of the reasons why people are excluded and what could be done to facilitate inclusion. Our first case study then looked at the trial in pregnant women, which achieved very good diversity. Some of the things helping that, simplifying the patient leaflets, using an interpreter, and allowing more time for consent. And what we got there was the eMERGE trial, which is changing practice in managing diabetes in pregnancy with all those important outcomes for mothers and babies. Then our second study, Noreen told us a really powerful, I think, and moving story of her children, James and Kate, and how clinical trials are improving treatments and quality of life in real time. And this is why we do research. And I don't think I've ever heard really a better example of how today's research is tomorrow's healthcare. Our third case study then focused on the inclusion of marginalised people in research. We heard that social exclusion is a huge driver of poor health and of increasing the chance of dying. And we know relatively little about why that is, so certainly that's an area for the HRB and others to think about. We heard we need to talk to people, bring the research to them, support people to participate, because of course if we don't include everybody, we don't get a true reflection of what's going on. And we were told to ditch the deserve-ometer. After lunch then, our session just now, a fantastic session. Second session on research and action explored what the future holds for research ethics on new technologies, or as new technologies and challenges emerge. We heard about the challenges posed in 3 areas: reproduction, mind and brain, environment, and some very important questions were posed, not least if any research presages the end of humanity, which is a little alarming in itself. Our first case study this afternoon focused on AI, starting with what exactly it is. We got a fantastic explanation and some lovely examples of practical applications in healthcare, which of course raises all sorts of questions around regulation and consequences, and how regulation can keep up with technology. Then our second case study looked at biobanking and the challenges of consent around that. The argument being that we need to maybe rethink privacy because there are limits to what we can do, the need to be clear on our goals, And rethinking biobanks as data and associated samples and trust again came up as a fundamental issue. And then our final case study raised the complexity, I suppose, and dilemmas around genomics, and in a very seasonal message, maybe to rethink your plan to buy a DTC for Christmas. So that, I suppose, all in all, we had some wonderful, informative talks and some challenging messages. And I think certainly for the HRB, a lot to think about as we plan ahead for the next decade and think about opportunities as well as challenges. Just to let you know that most of the presentations today will be put up on our YouTube channel. And we hope also in the new year to publish a blog with all of the I suppose, some of the outcomes and the thinking from today. And that'll happen in the new year, so keep an eye out for that. Now, before we finally close, of course, I've got a lot of thanks to offer. I want, first of all, to extend my thanks to the speakers and the chairs. They've really inspired us today with their insightful contributions. It's been absolutely fantastic. I want to say thanks also to the team who organised the conference. It wouldn't have happened. We had a very good programme committee. It wouldn't have happened without them. They designed today's agenda, which I think was really good. And we're very fortunate to benefit from the participation of our patient advocate, Sarah McLaughlin. Her input was absolutely invaluable to shaping the programme. And I have to thank our communications team in the HRB, particularly Anna Dunn and Marta Przarska, for their work. They work behind the scenes to make all of this happen, along with Gillian Markey. Now, while I have you all here, I want to also take the opportunity to thank Emily and the National Office team. In the last 3 years, they've set up this new national service completely from scratch, and that is not easy at all. They've shown great commitment and energy, and I think they've done an absolutely fantastic job on behalf of the whole community. Given that we're waiting to get our budget, I'd better also thank Mairead O'Connor and his team in the Department of Health for their support as well. And finally, just to say a very special thanks to all of you as well for being with us today, your interest in this really important topic, all of your contributions, your engagement throughout the day. I really hope you enjoyed yourself. On behalf of myself, the HRB, the National Office team, we're really looking forward to working with you in the years ahead, just to advance the whole practice of research ethics in Ireland. And I wish you all a safe journey home. Thank you very much.